Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
Hey, you look concerned. What's on your mind?
The final exam. I'm not fully prepared yet.
Well, don't worry too much. You still have 3 days.
Yeah, but 3 days will fly past in a wink.
Well, you still have time to cram things in your brain anyway.
Question 1. Why is the man looked worried?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hello, Mr. Thompson. I hope you're well. I'm calling to discuss a situation we're facing in the ER. Admissions have been rapidly increasing, and we're struggling to manage them with our current staffing levels.
Hi, Sarah. I understand your concern. It has been a difficult period with patient numbers climbing. Can you provide me with some specifics about the current situation?
Absolutely. Over the past few weeks, we've been seeing a 30% increase in the number of patients coming in. We're doing our best, but the lack of staff is impacting our ability to provide timely care. We're dealing with longer wait times, and it's creating stress not just for the patients, but also for the team.
I see. That's quite concerning. I'm aware that staffing shortages have been a growing issue, but what kind of support are you looking for to handle this increase in patient admissions?
Right now, we need additional qualified nurses to cover shifts. Some of our team members are working double shifts, and it's taking a toll on their well-being. We could also use support with administrative tasks to let the medical staff focus on patient care rather than paperwork.
Okay, I understand. I'll need to coordinate with HR to look at potential solutions for more staffing. We might also consider bringing in part-time or temporary nurses for the next few weeks. Would that help relieve some of the immediate pressure?
That would be great, Mr. Thompson. Even if we get temporary staff, it would make a significant difference.
What is the primary reason for the increased stress among Sarah's team? Why does Mr. Thompson suggest hiring part-time or temporary nurses? What can be inferred about Mr. Thompson's role in the hospital?
You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
I'll speak to HR immediately about temporary staffing solutions, but in the meantime, have you been able to delegate some tasks to other support staff or look at alternative solutions to manage the influx of patients?
We've tried assigning some basic administrative tasks to medical assistants, but it's not ideal. They aren't trained for complex paperwork, which leads to more errors. We could really use a dedicated administrative assistant to help us manage the documentation efficiently.
That's a good point. A dedicated administrative assistant would certainly free up valuable time for the nursing team. I'll make a note of that and discuss it with the administration team. Do you think it would help if we provided extra training to support staff for basic documentation, even if they aren't fully dedicated to it?
Yes, training could be useful as a temporary measure, but it's not enough on its own. Our main issue is that the volume of work is just too much for the current staff to handle efficiently.
Understood. Besides the staffing needs, how are things going in terms of patient care quality? Are there specific patient services or types of cases causing the greatest stress?
Yes, the emergency cases have been particularly difficult. We're often facing multiple high-priority patients at once, which leaves us stretched thin. Our resources are not enough to keep up with all the critical cases that come in.
That's definitely a priority we need to address. I'll make sure to escalate the issue and propose a temporary solution for additional staff, especially for high-priority shifts. Would bringing in part-time support for peak hours be beneficial in the short term?
Absolutely. If we could bring in nurses during the busiest times, it would help us immensely.
Why does Sarah suggest a dedicated administrative assistant would be helpful? What underlying issue is revealed by Sarah's concern about high-priority patients? What can be inferred about Mr. Thompson's management style based on his response?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
I've spoken with the HR department, and we can start bringing in temporary nurses to cover the busiest shifts starting next week. We'll also start the search for an administrative assistant to help with patient documentation.
That's wonderful news, Mr. Thompson. I think this will make a significant impact on our team's ability to manage patient care without burning out.
I'm glad to hear that. We're also looking into streamlining some of the administrative processes to reduce the workload on everyone involved. Would you be open to piloting a new electronic documentation system that could speed up the paperwork?
Yes, that would be great. If it can reduce time spent on paperwork, it'll definitely help us focus more on patient care.
I'll arrange for training on this new system for the staff. It may take a little time to get everyone up to speed, but the long-term benefits will be worth it.
That sounds like a plan. I really appreciate your help in addressing this, Mr. Thompson. It's reassuring to know that we're taking action to support the team.
Of course, Sarah. Your team's well-being and patient care are our top priorities. Let's keep in touch and review the situation in a couple of weeks to ensure we're on track.
Will do. Thank you for your quick response and support.
What is implied about the training for the new system? What might be the long-term benefit of implementing the electronic documentation system?
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey Jake, do you know where Mom left my phone charger? Hey Jake, do you know where Mom left my phone charger?
Oh, I think I saw it in the living room earlier. I was watching the game, and I think you left it on the coffee table.
I was so sure I'd put it in my room. Thanks for the heads up, though. By the way, did you hear from Sarah today?
Yeah, she called me this morning. She was telling me about that big project she's working on at her job. She sounded really stressed, but excited too.
I can't believe she's already handling that much responsibility. She's only been there for a few months.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm proud of her. Anyway, I'm glad she's managing it. Speaking of projects, how's that art piece you're working on for school?
It's getting there. I'm doing a still life with fruit and flowers. But I swear, I can't get the shading on the apples right. It's driving me crazy.
Oh, I get that. I remember my old art class. The hardest part was always the shadows. Want me to help you with it? I could give you some tips.
Would you? That'd be amazing, Jake. I keep making them look like little red bowling balls instead of apples.
I know the feeling. Let's go to the kitchen after dinner and I'll show you what I learned. By the way, do you think you could save me some of that pasta Mom made tonight? I'm starving.
Of course, just don't tell her I said this, but I think it's going to be the best dinner of the week. She even added the homemade garlic bread.
Now you're really making me hungry. All right, I'm going to go grab the charger and wait for dinner. We'll do your art stuff after. Deal?
Deal. Thanks, Jake. You're the best.
Don't mention it. I'm just a brother who's trying to survive around here.
What does Emily's comment about the apples suggest about her feelings toward her art project? Why does Jake offer to help Emily with her art project? What can be inferred about Sarah's new job? What does Emily's description of the dinner imply about her perspective on her mom's cooking? What does Jake's joke about surviving suggest about his relationship with Emily?
You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hello, Dr. Williams. Thank you for meeting with me today. I'm really concerned about my son, Ethan. He's been struggling with his reading and writing at school, and I'm not sure what kind of support he needs.
Of course, I understand your concerns. It's common for children to face challenges with reading and writing, but the good news is that there are many strategies we can use to support Ethan. Can you tell me a little more about what you've noticed at home and at school?
Sure. He gets frustrated quickly when reading aloud, and his handwriting is often hard to read. At school, his teachers say he's a bit behind compared to his peers. We've tried extra reading time at home, but it doesn't seem to help much. He gets tired and discouraged easily.
That's really helpful information. It sounds like Ethan may benefit from some specific strategies to build confidence and skills. One approach we can try is differentiated instruction, which tailors lessons to his learning style. For instance, using audiobooks or digital text-to-speech tools can help him process reading more effectively.
I like that idea. Could it help with his writing too? I've noticed his ideas are good, but the physical act of writing seems to be a major hurdle.
Absolutely. For writing, we could try using speech-to-text software. This allows him to speak his thoughts out loud, which can ease the physical strain of writing and allow him to focus on developing his ideas. We could also break writing assignments into smaller tasks to avoid overwhelming him.
That sounds like it could work. What about the classroom environment? Is there anything the teachers can do?
Teachers can provide more time for tasks, offer visual aids, and give Ethan clear step-by-step instructions. Regular check-ins would also be helpful to ensure he's staying on track. I can work with the school to set up some of these accommodations.
That sounds wonderful. I'm hopeful these strategies will help Ethan feel more confident. Thank you so much for your time and advice.
You're very welcome. We'll take it one step at a time and make adjustments as needed. Let's keep in touch and make sure Ethan has the support he deserves.
What might Ethan's frustration while reading aloud indicate about his challenges? Why does the specialist suggest breaking writing tasks into smaller steps? What aspect of classroom support does the specialist emphasize? What can be inferred about Ethan's strengths from the parents' observations? What is the purpose of tailored instruction suggested by the specialist? What might be a long-term goal of the suggested strategies for Ethan?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
Last night, the city's downtown arena was buzzing with excitement as thousands of music lovers gathered for one of the biggest concerts of the year. The event featured an electrifying lineup of renowned artists, drawing fans from across the region. As the lights dimmed and the first notes reverberated through the hall, the crowd erupted in cheers, setting the stage for an unforgettable evening. Headlining the concert was global sensation Aurora Ray, whose soaring vocals and dramatic stage presence mesmerized the audience from start to finish. The show was marked by an impressive mix of her chart-topping hits, new releases, and unexpected covers that had concert-goers singing along. Special guest performances by local rising stars added a unique touch to the evening, showcasing the city's vibrant music scene. Security personnel and event staff worked tirelessly to ensure the safety and smooth operation of the night with minimal disruptions. The concert's energy reached a peak during the closing act, where confetti cannons and dazzling pyrotechnics lit up the arena, sending waves of excitement through the crowd. Fans left the venue buzzing with memories of the spectacular night, a testament to the city's ever-growing reputation as a premier destination for live music. Despite the high demand for tickets, organisers confirmed that the event was sold out weeks in advance, underscoring the immense popularity of both the headlining act and the city's commitment to hosting world-class events. With the success of this concert, there is already talk of future performances that promise to elevate the local music scene even further. For now, the city continues to revel in the aftermath, the echoes of last night's songs lingering in the minds of those fortunate enough to attend.
You will listen to a 2 minutes video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
So, we've got our next performance coming up, and we need to choose the songs we want to cover. I'm thinking we should mix it up a bit, maybe include a few classics along with some contemporary hits.
I agree, but let's also consider the vibe we want to create for the audience. I'm leaning towards something with a lot of energy to really get them going. Maybe a few rock anthems, something with a good guitar riff.
That sounds great. But I think we should balance it out with a slower, emotional song to change the pace. A nice ballad could really show off our vocal range. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I like the idea of a ballad. How about something from the 80s? Classic but emotional. Maybe With or Without You by U2. It has that perfect mix of power and vulnerability.
Ooh, that's a good one. But I was also thinking of doing something a little more current, like a hit from Billie Eilish. Her style could give us a fresh twist. We could mix a cover of her song with our own unique arrangement.
I like the sound of that. We could definitely incorporate some electronic elements, like a heavier synth backdrop to add that modern touch, but we'll need to adjust the tempo to fit our style.
Alright, so for the set list, we have a classic ballad like U2, a Billie Eilish cover, and maybe something upbeat, like Queen's Don't Stop Me Now. That way, we can hit different emotional notes and keep the energy flowing.
I'm on board with that. For the arrangements, I think I can take the lead on the guitar riffs for the rock songs. What if we add some extra harmonies to the vocals to give it more depth?
I can focus on the keys and synth for the Billie Eilish cover. I can experiment with different layers to make it sound more atmospheric, maybe some reverb and subtle effects to give it that ethereal feel.
Sounds perfect. And I'll take care of the bass lines. I think we should make sure the transitions between songs feel smooth. We don't want any awkward silences, so we'll need to rehearse how we flow from one to the next.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got a good mix of songs here. Let's finalize the arrangements and start rehearsing. I'm excited to see how it all comes together.
Me too. Let's make this performance one to remember.
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
Living with less has become more than just a lifestyle choice. It's an intentional shift that many are choosing for its profound impact on mental, emotional, and financial well-being. Simplifying life through minimalism means embracing what truly matters while letting go of excess that clutters both our homes and minds. This approach to life fosters a deep sense of contentment as individuals learn to prioritize quality over quantity, focusing on the things, experiences, and relationships that bring them joy and fulfillment. Instead of being caught up in the relentless pursuit of more possessions, minimalist living encourages mindfulness and the realization that true happiness doesn't come from acquiring, but from appreciating what one already has. Reducing clutter can lead to clearer spaces, which in turn supports clearer thinking and reduced stress. Financially, living minimally means making choices that prioritize long-term stability over short-term gratification, ultimately leading to greater peace of mind. It's not about depriving oneself, but about understanding the value of moderation and making room for what enriches life most. Minimalism isn't confined to physical possessions. It extends to time management and relationships, guiding us to focus on what nurtures our growth and being. By consciously choosing simplicity, we shift our attention from consumerism to sustainability and cultivate a more mindful existence. It provides freedom, not just from the burden of too many things, but from the constant pressure of chasing trends or trying to keep up with others. It's a subtle revolution, where less becomes not just more, but better, enhancing life through a harmonious blend of simplicity, intentionality, and joy.